Got it.
You might have to for the questions you may have to like, oh, what is this? Awesome. Everything good?
Yeah, we about to start right now.
Okay, bet.
And boom, we are live.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
I'm about to share the link out to you in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Yay, it's up. Okay. Peace, y'all. Peace, y'all. We started live. I know we live, but I got to share the link out to Marcus as well as the wellness community so everybody can come in and join. Here you go, Marcus. The link is coming to you now.
Awesome. Awesome. Go. Thank you.
And to the wellness community, the link is there. So here we are. Okay, y'all. You should, oh, they already in. Look, I just sent the link to the wellness community. They in the chat now. Hey.
Hey.
Hi, y'all.
How's it going?
Oh, they said, hey, hello, Marcus. Oh, I see the butterflies. Y'all so silly. So, Marcus, I got to catch you up. Because yesterday, we did a live with everybody I told you about. Darcel, Afro Spiritual, Iani Fashandra. And Darcel, he has a community called The Lighthouse, and their emoji is the light bulbs. So I said, wellness community, I said, we need a little emoji. What's going to be our emoji? I said, I need a good poom poom emoji. What emoji can we use for that? And they started putting butterflies, and they so silly. Sean is wild. So that's the butterfly emojis in the chat. But y'all, let's do this, okay? Because I've been telling y'all about this live for a couple of days now. Hey, Jax, representing for Darcel in the Lighthouse. I've been telling y'all for a couple of days that we're gonna do this live, and I'm gonna have a conversation with. One second. With Marcus, who y'all always hear me say, Inner Crystallization. I had to say, what name do you want to go by? Because I always just say Inner Crystallization, but I know you got a name. So y'all, this is Marcus, the founder of Inner Crystallization. Literally, y'all, when I say, hey, Sean, Universal Lighthouse, Shawnee, Queen, I see y'all in the chat. I see y'all. When I say, I will never forget the moment I opened that package. And I'm so grateful that I caught it on video, because I was like, first off, when it said Augusta, Georgia, I wasn't expecting it. When it said Augusta, Georgia, I was like, wow, this for my family? Who sent me something? Anybody tell me nothing was coming? This is when my aunt was still living. And I was like, did she give somebody my address? What's going on? And opening that package was amazing. It was a beautiful, beautiful blessing. And I'm forever grateful. And it's still...
Oh, you still got it.
We're still here. Okay, your pieces are appreciated and so valued. So, Marcus, please share with the community who you are, what you do, and a little bit about your journey with spirituality, because the intention of this video, y'all, we're going to talk about some of everything. The intention is to discuss spirituality, is to discuss Marcus, unbeknownst to me, is on the journey or on the path of understanding Kemetic Science. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about chakras and, of course, crystals, because y'all know that's his thing. Okay, so we're going to talk about everything. But before we dive deep into that, how did you get to where you are now? Who is Marcus and how did you become?
Alrighty, so hey everyone, my name is Marcus. Okay, I've been doing this for about So it first started, I was grown up Christian, Baptist Christian, went to Christian school and whatnot. And then essentially I became agnostic. I became atheist. And then I just started being atheist. And I was atheist ever since I was about 12, after like me and my dad had some like very deep conversations. And he was saying like, well, he's basically agnostic. And then I just became atheist after he told me he was agnostic. And I didn't really dive into Christianity after that. So when I turned 16, I got into personal development. I got into concepts like meditation and whatnot, and I got into entrepreneurship as well. But I was still agnostic more so. I was agnostic, but I was meditating on a daily basis, and I was meditating for a level of non-spiritual enlightenment, because my mindset was not on spirituality, but I was in personal development, healing through different things, and learning how to, gain mastery over my body, mastery over my mind. So that was when I was 16. Then I fast forward up into 19. I moved from Augusta to Atlanta to pursue my dreams as an entrepreneur. And long story short, if you don't got to move in, if you don't got to move in where you're at, you don't just move to a place and just think you're gonna have a movement. Like, you got to have the motion inside of yourself. I was searching outside of myself. Trying to find answers. And I was like, wow. So during that phase, I moved to Atlanta, and I get into spirituality. I started getting into these deeper concepts and whatnot. And I got into astrology a little bit. And so I'm going from agnostic entrepreneur, having my mindset of all these things, and now I'm spiritual. So now I immediately gravitate towards crystals, because I already had a rock collection when I was young. I grew up with a rock collection. So I got into crystals when I got into spirituality. And I just needed a way to keep the crystals on me, because I kept losing them. I would go to Crystal Blue. I would buy a little. Well, I shouldn't plug them, because never mind. But I would go to Crystal Blue, and I don't know if you know, you muted right now. I don't know if you know, but okay, cool. And I would go get my little crystals, but I would always lose them. So I found a way to keep them on me. So I would wire wrap them, and it wasn't jewelry to me. It was just a way so it could stay on me. But then other people were like, "Oh wow, you make jewelry? Can you make me some?" And then I started making them some, and then everything flipped when there was this guy that I was becoming friends with. He was a homeless guy in Atlanta, and he was making jewelry. And I should say houseless, because he was like very intelligent. He could have gotten a place to live. He kind of just chose to be homeless. So I should say houseless. But they had a really small shop, just smaller than this room, like probably half the size of this room, up at Little 5 Points. And I learned how to make jewelry from him. And I had an apprentice under him. I was working under him. He taught me the ropes, and he let me use all of his tools and resources. And I'm 19. I'm very well versed within entrepreneurship, so I help him. He helps me, and then now he has to, like, fast forward to nowadays. Now is a nice doing business that in I want to say in Seattle. He has a good business. He has a beautiful wife. Like, he's living a good life out now. And I moved back to Augusta right when after that whole thing, because like I said, I moved to Atlanta so I could escape, essentially so I can escape. But then I got humbled, and I went back to Augusta. Then I started my business from the ground up, and then now I have a store in the Augusta Mall, and now I have a store in a vegan restaurant called Humanity, which I know you're familiar with. But I have a store inside of there as well. And I have a store that I'm not going to be staying in. Well, I may stay in the mall, I may not, because the mall's doing some weird stuff. I don't like Brookfield properties right now. But I may switch my location to somewhere else, but that's where I'm at now. And that's where I got into my spiritual journey. And as far as the Kemetic spirituality, I got into Kemetic spirituality when I was like 19, turning 20. And Kemet was calling towards me. Kemet was calling towards me and invoked me through her. So then that's where I came to.
Okay, Marcus, we because there's a lot of questions I have based on everything you just said. First off, Marcus' website is Inner Crsytallization. I already put it in the chat, and I believe I pinned the comment. So you can go to the chat, use the code QueenPo15 and support. Okay, support. Now, I will pin the wellness community as well. But if you want to join the wellness community, all that information is in the description. It's naturally generated, okay? But pinned, Inner Crystallization, QueenPo15 is the code. Support for all your crystal needs. Now, the thing is, Marcus, I got a couple questions about your story.
Okay.
Number one, I don't know if y'all heard Marcus. Okay, I said it in the beginning, and he said it a couple times. This is Augusta family, okay? This is Augusta, 706.
706.
Marcus, what high school did you graduate from?
Laney Wildcats.
Okay. I graduated from Richmond. I graduated from Richmond. So y'all, we don't deal with Laney like that. We don't do Laney like that. Okay, we don't deal with Laney. Okay, but
go to Laney for a short period of time.
No, I didn't go to Laney. I used to live in Jenny Holmes, the project right behind Josie.
Okay, I thought you went to Laney and then you went to Richmond.
No, I was straight to Richmond, graduated from Richmond Musketeer. Okay. You know how we do, But yes. So making that transition to Atlanta, and y'all, I hope something you take away from that story. Hey, Darcel, I hope something y'all take away from that story is, remember how yesterday we was talking about when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Remember how we was talking about how when you feel out of alignment, and a lot of people ask, well, how can I connect with elders? How can I find someone who's willing to teach me? How can I have like a godparent or whatever? And I told you, when you are ready, the universe will align you. Marcus just told his story of going from Augusta to Atlanta, and the universe aligned him with a beautiful human who at the time was unhoused. But Marcus did not judge. He was well and aware on his spiritual journey enough to know that this is somebody who is a teacher, who can lead me and teach me things that's aligned with my path. So I hope that's a lesson y'all was able to pull from that story, that when he was prepared, when he was open, the universe aligned him with the teacher, and he was willing to be a student and be taught. And look where he is now. Okay, the brother just named a couple locations, huh? Just named a couple locations. All right. So the universe will align you. Now, we got to talk about, Marcus, the Kemetic Science, okay? Because you start naming names. Y'all, I told you, folks be studying, they be on their path and on their journey, and they just be throwing out lingo like everybody know what that is, okay? You start naming names. We need an explanation, Marcus. Who called you? What does that mean? For the very beginner, for anybody who is watching and they have no idea what it means to understand Kemetic Science and Kemetic Spirituality, what was that journey like coming in and stepping into Kemetic spirituality, and how did you start studying?
Okay. So first off, I started getting into it. I started to look in the meaning of the Ankh and whatnot, and then going into like quote unquote Egyptology, what they call Egyptology. But I started to dive into that. There we go. And then and then as I kept looking towards it, like I didn't know that was going to be my spirituality. I didn't know that was like I was gonna take it seriously. I just kind of started looking into it because people kept pointing at Egypt. Like, I'm just not getting spirituality. People keep pointing to Egypt. Like, oh, that's where it started. So I was studying the seven. At the time, I was studying the 7 Hermetic principles, which came from the 7 Kemetic principles. When I started learning, but I was like, oh, it just all came from Kemet. But Kemet, and there's the difference. They say like gods and goddesses of the Kemetic practice, but they're not gods or goddesses. They're what we would call aspects of nature, or a neter or neteru. And these would be like, so like that would be like, we're more familiar with Ra and Heru, and Ra would be symbolic of the masculine energy and the rays of the sun hitting the earth. And that has a deeper scientific meaning, but that's essentially what Ra is for. Ra is that the divine masculine energy radiating and creating life through that way. Heru, his son. Heru is what we see as like the falcon-headed god, but the falcon-headed Neteru, or the hawk-headed Neteru, and that would be an aspect of war. That would be an aspect of nature. That kind of war is kind of nestled within that aspect. War, heroism, conquering, and that would be an aspect of that. So that's how the Neteru starts. That's kind of how, that's the intro of it. And Sekhmet is the lion-headed Neteru. She has similarities to Kali, of roar, of rage, of fiery energy. Like Sekhmet would be the conqueror of all conquerors. Sekhmet would be the one who everyone fears. Like that's the type of energy she has. And she's definitely a feminine Neteru. And she has her sister, her alter side, which is Hathor, and that would be a calf-headed Neteru. And so Sekhmet is more so the aspect of nature, or the aspect within nature, that is allowing you to get lost within, and not to sound negative, but not lost within rage, lost within something, lost within your emotions, and having that carry you out. And on the aspect of that, Hathor is the goddess, I shouldn't say goddess, but the Neteru of love and dance. And on that other side, you can be lost within passion, lost within dance, lost within bliss. And then that would just kind of fill you up, and it would kind of create a life of its own throughout you. So that would be the dynamic between those two. And a segment just started coming in different ways. I started seeing lions a lot more. I started seeing lion-headed goddess more, like the whole aspect of that more. And then stuff happened in dreams, and and then next thing you know, I started diving in deep into it.
This is the thing, y'all. Let me tell y'all about divine alignment, okay? because y'all know I always tell you on the spiritual journey, it's all different, but it's all interconnected. It's all aligned. I want y'all to think about what I was saying yesterday, right? How, when people talk about Orisha, in order to make it understandable for people who are unaware of the universe and unaware of energy, you use the term gods and goddess. And I appreciate you, Marcus, for immediately starting out by saying, we say gods and goddesses, but that's not what it is. This is energy we're speaking of, okay? And I want y'all to think about the divine alignment, right? Think about how yesterday, was saying that, we believe in Olu, we believe in Olodumare, we believe in a supreme energy, a divine higher source, but think about Orisha as managers, right? Think about Orisha as having jobs, right? They are over certain energies. It's energy, right? It's like almost like names that we give the divine beings of this energy. Now, Marcus is essentially saying the same thing, and I appreciate you for saying hermetic, because there's other aspects of Kemetic that need to be studied, okay? And we talk about the divine feminine, the sacred masculine, and these energies. He's speaking about the sun, and who is commonly known as Ra. But what that brings us, the source, the energy that brings us, right? Talking about understanding how all of this connects to the emotions. There's so many ways we could go just from that. There's so many ways. But I want to go to understanding the divine feminine and the sacred masculine. How do you feel when someone asks you to define divine feminine, define sacred masculine, and how do they encompass us? Or how do they impact us? How does that energy play on who we become and who we are? What would you say?
Okay. So I would say divine masculine. So we all have our divine masculine and divine feminine within us. You're born. That doesn't matter what you're born with. You have both masculine and feminine counterparts. So first off, let's start off. If we all need to be practicing some spirituality that has an equal, I shouldn't say equal, but has an equal amount of masculine and feminine. If you're practicing a spiritual practice and it's like a bunch of masculine energies, like you hear all these male names, that whole practice is not as balanced as it should be. So just try to find balance within mentally. But feminine energy would be an energy that's more so, how I should say, not it's not bad, but chaotic. Feminine energy is more chaotic or that's the better word, unpredictable. Things can be birthed from nothing. Things can come from nothing within feminine energy. And that's what makes it seem more chaotic. But chaos isn't bad. Like if we don't have chaos, then we don't have harmony within our microbiome. If we don't have chaos, then we need chaos, essentially. Masculine energy would be more orderly, but it would be much more predictable, much more practical, much more logic-based, much more mathematical to a degree, and the feminine energy would be, like I said, less orderly to a degree. And if we're going into counterparts in relationships, feminine principles would be tending to certain emotions more so. The feminine energy is more nurturing, more emotional. The masculine energy is more so, not to say protective, but I can't get to it right now.
So I appreciate that, because the thing about it is understanding that the masculine as the logic, right? And being more still and more firm. Someone said, Darcel said that the feminine is being, the masculine is doing. And what I think that the way that balance plays out, understanding the masculine as the logic, the standstill, the firm, right? The feminine is the fluid. That's the water, to be able to just flow and move, right? And how that could appear, how that could show up is, it's not lacking logic. A lot of times people think feminine and they think, oh, well, if you are dwelling too much in your feminine energy, you have no order. You have no logic. You're not thinking. It's not that. But feminine energy is about going with the flow, going with your feeling, right? It's like very emotion centered. So that idea of, feminine is the being, it's the who you are, it's the existence, leading in emotion, understanding in emotion. But when you balance it with that masculine, when you balance it with that standing firm, when you balance it with that logic, it's understanding who you are, having emotional awareness, being able to go with the flow, but with logic. So when I think about the balance between the divine feminine and the sacred masculine, I think about the balance between self-awareness, emotional awareness, and logic, having that logic mind, being grounded in that root, right? Understanding the solar plexus where the emotion dwells, and the root chakra where grounding lies. Speaking of chakras, okay, when we talk about chakras, right, I know that's something you're very passionate about.
Yes.
What piqued your interest in the chakras? And please share your understanding of the chakras and how they affect us.
Okay, so I just say piqued my interest. That was kind of more so where everything was pointing towards when I first got into spirituality. People kept talking. Well, first off, like with crystals, people are always saying, throat chakra crystal or crown chakra or pineal gland crystal. So I was like, well, if these all align with the chakras, then let me learn what the chakras are. I'm big on principles and trying to learn the principles. So I started learning the chakras, and chakra is Sanskrit for spinning wheel. Chakra it comes more so from India, it's the Indian culture, or it will go under Ayurvedic healing and whatnot. And we're practicing nowadays with the 7 chakra system. That's more of like a Western approach to it. But Indians, like the natural people that were doing it, they did use the 7 chakras, but they did that and encompass more of the chakras in there. There's like somewhere around 300 chakras in total, somewhere around there. But we just use the 7 chakras, the basic 7 chakras. And it goes from the ground up, goes from the root up. The root chakra is red. And I got my chakra cards on me right now. But the first chakra is red, has to do with your connection with earth, has to do with your connection or your ability to feel safe and secure in your environment, safe and secure in your house. Embodies the needs embodies the feelings that your needs are going to be met. Like your resources are going to be there. And we have an imbalanced root chakra when we feel like our resources are scarce, or if we feel like we have a level of financial instability or something like that. And that would be towards the root chakra, which is red. And it has to do with, like, you can see I got some red crystals. There's like a Super 7 amethyst dealing with the root chakra, and I've got some tourmaline somewhere.
Wait, hold on, Marcus, hold on. Y'all have y'all notes out, because y'all see Marcus is giving recommendations already. Okay, he's giving recommendations already, so I hope y'all taking y'all notes. All right, he's explaining the chakras and telling you what crystal goes with what. Okay, so when y'all go to the shop, Inner Crystallization shop, the link is pinned. When y'all go to shop, he's telling you what you need, why you need it, and what area it's going to be useful for. Now, go ahead on, Marcus. Go ahead.
And also, if y'all want to look deeper into it, I got blog posts on the 7 chakras, so those are all on my website as well. And most of the blog posts, they have some of the crystals in there as well too. But moving up to the sacral chakra, which is orange, that has to do with your creativity, your sensuality, your sexuality, your passion, your motivation. Your sacral chakra is more so tied to the emotions that you feel, right? The emotions that you feel. And we get the emotional chakras mixed up. Like, so the heart chakra is the emotions that you exchange more so. But the sacral chakra has to do with more so of the emotions that you feel. And like I said, it has to do with sexuality and creativity. Creativity is a sexual force, like that comes from like creating a baby. So like that all the energy is kind of all encompassed in one. And the organs has to do with it. I didn't even mention the organs for the root chakra. The organs for the root chakra are your adrenals, which sit on top of your kidneys, your lower intestines, and your anus. And those have to do with the root chakra. Your sacral chakra has to do with your kidneys, has to do with your sex organs, the element of water within your body, lymphatic system. Your joints are more so tied to your sacral chakra. And and parts of your
Okay, wait, hold on. I got a follow-up question. I'm trying not to interrupt your flow of thought, but there's so many gems you dropping, and I want people to catch this, because now he's talking about aspects of the physical body that are associated with the chakras. So if someone has let's because you're at the sacral, okay? So you just named some aspects of the physical body that the sacral impacts. If someone has a blocked sacral chakra, how will that affect those aspects of the physical body?
Great question. Great. Yeah. So yeah, just as you said, the chakras tie directly with your organs, your organ systems and whatnot. So if you have a blockage within your sacral chakra, you can see some issues within your sex organs. You'll see a lot of issues within your digestion tract, specifically your colon, your GI tract. You'll see issues with your kidneys directly. Like people so your kidneys and adrenals are tied towards your stress. So, and that's to say more so your adrenals specifically are tied to your stress. Your adrenals are small little organelles that sit on top of your kidneys. But if you're stressed, then you have like a lot of that buildup within your body, within your energy, then legit, like the organ that deals with stress is your kidneys. This emotional discomfort, that organ actually is your kidneys. And the same with all of them. Like if you have like some anger issues, or you have some levels of self-hate, you can actually feel that. You can feel hate in your heart. You can feel these negative emotions in your heart. If you have a lot of anger, that stores up into your liver. And that's to do more so with the heart chakra. But let me go back down to the to the sacral chakra.
So the root, Shay Dame said, please. She said, ask about the root. She said, Queen, same question for the root. If there's a blockage in the root, how could they know in their body? How would they know?
Okay, but we'll see. Like I said, your adrenals. So your adrenals get hit every time you're stressed. When you're stressed out, that kind of taxes your adrenals. And that's where you start to get kidney failure will come from the adrenal failure sometimes. But nevertheless, what the best thing for your root chakra, I would say, do deep diaphragmatic breathing and breathing that's breathing so deep that it's expanding your colon and your stomach, and you can feel pressure going down towards your stomach. And that's what you want to do if you have issues within your root chakra. Just try to practice breathing deeper, because like I said, it's going to be your colon. And you're going to have some digestion issues as well. You'll see that if we're having root chakra, sacral chakra issues, then we're having issues within our colon, and we're either digesting way too quickly, like our metabolism is way too high, or it's really sluggish or it's low. And that's how you would heal that. You would heal the colon, or you would, and through breathing, you would do deep breathing, diaphragmatic breathing exercises.
Okay, now going back up to the sacral. So he covered root, going back up to the sacral. Okay, Roy Goddess asked a question with this one. Mm-hmm. Roy Goddess said, dealing with the sacral chakra, you spoke about, that's our safe space where, our sensuality, our sexuality dwells. How does being celibate impact that, or does it impact that?
Oh, that is a really, really good question. So celibacy is different whether or not what organs you have, whether you're and I don't want to say your organs determine your gender, but let's just say what your organs are. So if you have a vagina, celibacy hits you way different than a man. Men is more so, celibacy ties into it, but men has to do more so with semen retention. Women have to do more so with celibacy and reestablishing her connection with her own womb. And so celibacy will definitely boost your sacral chakra. Celibacy is going to take you to the next level, and definitely as a woman, because women have a whole microbiome in their womb, right? So when you're allowing other things in there, you're not going to have the same level of self-adjusting homeostasis. Like, that's the best way I can say it is in that way. But you won't have things that are interrupting your microbiome, the good and bad bacteria that's being balanced within your womb. So when you lock that up, you save it to yourself, it kind of flourishes to a degree. It flourishes, it proliferates. You have all these wonderful bacteria that are having a healthy ecosystem, and then that in turn boosts your sacral chakra, and that in turn boosts your womb. So it goes hand in hand. And for men, celibacy, men just have to stop ejaculating. That's the thing. That's the thing with men. Men can have sex, but that's not affecting our urinary tract as much, because we just don't have that type of urinary tract. But when men semen retain, then we can unlock our powers and our gifts as men, and we can transmute that energy in different ways. So it like I said, it is different depending on your body, but that's how celibacy can boost your sacral chakra.
Marcus, this ain't even fair. This ain't even fair. I was not prepared for this. I did not know you was gonna come in here dropping all these gems. I was not, y'all. I swear for Lord, I just thought we was going to talk about chakras and crystals, and on a surface level. I was not expecting conversations on semen retention and celibacy and the womb as a microbiome. I wasn't expecting this. I hope y'all catching it, because Marcus is going even deeper than what I expected. Okay, I wasn't prepared for this early in the afternoon. Huh? Now, Marcus, we're talking about the sacral. You're talking about the power of semen retention. You're talking about the power of understanding the womb as a microbiome. Marcus, please, what are some crystals that if they want to balance, if they need help, assistance, balancing out their sacral chakra, what do you recommend for crystals and any other work they can do to open up and bring balance to the sacral chakra area?
Okay. So the first crystal that comes to mind with the sacral chakra, and people often associate this crystal with the root chakra, but it works for both, is red jasper. Red jasper is a great one. I don't really have any red jasper around me like that, but red jasper, this is let me see if I got this somewhere. It's a red crystal. You can't really see through it. It's what you would call opaque, and that's what all jaspers, like lapis lazuli, is sometimes considered a jasper. Jasper, it would look kind of like more like this, but just red to a degree. But I would say that orange carnelian, rose quartz is a great one that works with the sacral chakra and the root chakra, because like the rose quartz gets its pink color from iron, and crystals with a high iron content heal your sacral chakra. So especially like with womb healing, like if you're trying to heal your womb, you want to work with some crystals with a lot of iron content, because that has to do with like a lot of with your blood, the whole thing, the whole 9 yards. But that's what I would advise you, especially like if you're having any PMS issues. Get you some pyrite, get you some red jasper, get you some rose quartz, and then meditate with that when you're experiencing those things. Yeah, those would be some crystals off the bat. Then you have like just any orange crystal, red crystals, because crystals all go up by the color spectrum. So if it's a red crystal, it's gonna mostly deal with the root chakra. Same if it's a green crystal, it's gonna deal with the heart chakra, because the heart chakra is on the color spectrum of green. So like that's one way to color code the crystals, just go by the color vibration. But the main thing when working with any crystal, doesn't matter. And the same with most spiritual practices, is going to be your intentions. At the end of the day, you get the bulk of any, like your yoga sessions, your intention is going to be the bulk of it. Your meditation, your intention is going to take you farther. Same with working with crystals. You're working with crystals, have it be your intent to do that, and then it'll like do that times 12.
Yes. The intention, the power is in the intention. First off, yes, Cosmic Conjurer. Cosmic Conjurer said, "Oh wait, ooh, that was a blue jasper, Unc." Yes, it was.
Oh no, that was a blue sodalite. It was a blue sodalite. It just looks like jasper. It looks like a jasper.
Can you hold it up one more time if you can?
Yeah, blue sodalite.
Blue soda, the Ankh you had.
You said the Ankh?
Yeah, you held up an Ankh? No?
Oh no, I didn't. It was this. It wasn't an Ankh.
Oh, okay. We thought it was an Ankh. I thought I saw the same thing. Are we seeing things? Cosmic Contra, are we seeing things?
Definitely not. Oh no, my bad. The lapis. Okay, no, the lapis Ankh. My bad.
Okay, the lapis Ankh. I'm like, I know I saw Ankh.
I forgot I had Ankh.
Okay, so that's a lapis lazuli Ankh.
Yes, lapis lazuli Ankh.
Okay, perfect. So listen, y'all. The website is pinned, Inner Crystallization, the code QueenPo15. Go get you some. Okay, go get you some. He's telling you what you need. Now, can we move to the solar plexus? Solar plexus,
the I can chakra, the chakra that embodies the phrase I can. So your solar plexus has to do more so with your confidence, your self-esteem, your ability to believe that, at the end of the day, believe that you're going to manifest the reality that you're trying to manifest. And that could be on any scale. Just believe that you have the power to create some type of reality within yourself. And that ties into your confidence, that ties into your bravery, that ties into your self-esteem. And the solar plexus is yellow. You're going to deal with some crystals like yellow calcite. No, citrine, yellow calcite. I got some citrine pieces right here. This is a big old piece right here. Got some yellow calcite. So there's some solar plexus crystals. Like I said, it's going to be color coordinated. So like this is you may not see it, but it's actually a light yellow. It's a pale yellow, I should say. But either way, those are the crystals that align with it. For your organs, it's going to deal with your stomach and your gallbladder. and on the other side, your liver and your kidneys, and your not your liver, your liver and your stomach, spleen, liver, gallbladder. Your liver and your gallbladder deals with your heart chakra as well, but it has to do with your solar plexus too. So if you're trying to deal with your solar plexus and heal that through your body, you'll want to work with the organ, your stomach. We have our organs confused. We think that our intestines is also our stomach, and that's just what we call. So we call this whole area the stomach, but the stomach is actually a small organ right here. So if you want to heal your solar plexus, you want to work with that organ, your stomach, and then also start to heal your liver. Maybe drink a little less, or do some teas that work with your liver, like some ginseng tea or some ginger, like consume more ginger in your diet. And that would be the solar plexus. Moving up to the heart, the chakra of love, the chakra of equilibrium. One thing I was on my live earlier today, and I was harping on this. Our chakras can be overbalanced, they can be overactive or underactive, right? And they can just be in the middle. And sometimes we believe that we should have an overactive heart chakra. We should always be putting other people before ourselves. We should be giving, and we tend to not receive as much as we're giving. But if you are giving more than you're receiving, that may seem like a good thing, but you're actually damaging your heart chakra because you're causing an imbalance there. So you have to be, if it's with whatever relationship that you have, make sure that you're not overgiving, because it's cool to do that. It's nice. It definitely shows that your heart's in the right space, but you're actually damaging your heart chakra. So that's just a fun fact about the heart chakra. You can't overgive, even if you want to. You're not supposed to. So that's that. But your heart chakra has to do with your exchange of emotion. You exchanging emotion with other people and making sure you're not overgiving or undergiving, and making sure you're allowing yourself to receive, right? Allowing yourself to receive blessings, allowing yourself to receive prosperity, or any form of positivity from someone, whether it be a compliment or whether it be, just someone trying to be nice to you, just being receptive enough to have that deals with your heart chakra. Now, moving up to the throat, go ahead.
I have to, y'all, we got to unpack that. Because see, Marcus, a question I get a lot, right, is, dealing with family. We love our family, it's the family we're born into, but people, you get on a spiritual journey, and sometimes a lot of times your family does not understand who you are becoming. They don't understand why you're choosing to not participate in the religion that they chose for you. They don't understand why you don't want to eat pork shoulder no more and do the things you used to do with them. So they start rejecting you. And the question I get a lot is like, Queen, how do I deal with that? Queen, I live with my family and it's problems. How do I deal with that? Something Marcus spoke on is, almost like Erykah Badu has a song, right? And she says, I'm a recovering undercover overlover. Okay. And a lot of y'all are not aware that you are recovering undercover overlovers. You're such an undercover overlover that you don't even realize that you are here trying to pour all your love into folks who are not appreciating or valuing that love. And instead of recognizing that and saying, okay, so I'm going to keep some of me for me, you just keep giving more and more and more. That's an overactive heart chakra. That is not healthy. Some of y'all don't realize that you lack self-esteem, you lack self-value. And when someone tries to compliment you, you reject it. You so detached from, remember we talked about the ego and how the ego has value because there is some self-awareness in the ego, but the problem is some people allow their ego to lead, and that's when it becomes problematic. You have to have some level of self-awareness. You have to have some level of self-value. And when you lack that, you reject compliments. You reject love. You feel like, oh, he's too good. It's too good to be true. She's too good. She's too good to be true. I don't deserve this love. I don't deserve this treatment. And you reject it. That's where we have self-sabotage comes into play. Okay, so you'll see that a lot in your dating life. That's how you know that you have an underactive heart chakra. You lack building connection and community. Okay, you're rejecting connection and community. Underactive heart chakra. As Marcus pointed out, when your heart chakra is balanced, there's reciprocity. Balance with the heart chakra is reciprocity. Please, y'all, remember that. Remember that. Because moving forward, when somebody asks me how they deal with their family, that's getting on their nerves, that's hating them, that's rejecting them, I'm going to clip this part of the video. I'm going to be like, listen to Marcus. Listen to what Marcus said now. Okay? Now, throat chakra, Marcus.
Throat chakra. And that was a beautiful explanation, especially with the community. Like, that's one big thing on a heart chakra is participating in your community and having an exchange with the community as well as other people, like individually, but having an exchange with your actual community or with a community. But either way, moving up to the throat chakra it's light blue, or I should say the color of blue in general. And the color of blue deals with the throat chakra and the brow chakra. And light blue deals more so with the throat chakra. Darker blue deals more so with the brow chakra. But just as I said with this sodalite, it's blue, so it's mostly a brow chakra stone, but it's also going to work with the throat chakra. So the throat chakra, I like to explain it as like there's one aspect of it that's external, like your throat chakra has an external use where you're communicating with other people. And another aspect of your throat chakra is your communication with yourself. And not just the communication, but your authenticity within yourself and you recognizing what you're asking for, recognizing what you want and being honest with what you want. So first off, the throat chakra has to do with your creativity or the expression of your creativity and the expression of your personality. You being able to vocalize for yourself, speak up for yourself when you need to, set boundaries with yourself. One thing is we often try people that have an imbalanced throat chakra or underactive throat chakra don't know that they're allowing their boundaries to be set without them speaking them. So that they're saying, oh, this person should know that. You should know this. You should know this. Or they're just avoiding saying their boundaries, right? And they become accustomed to that because they've been put in those situations for so many times. And then they interpret other people's, nonverbal boundaries, right? They interpret that, so they think other people should interpret theirs. But it's like, no, not everyone's going to know your nonverbal boundaries. You need to be setting them so you can balance your throat chakra. And on the other side of that, your throat chakra, it has to do with your authenticity. Oftentimes, we don't know this, but we're lying to ourselves. We tell lies to ourselves all the time. Our ex hits us up, and we say, "Oh, I don't like my ex. I don't want to talk to my ex." Blah 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 blah. But you know, there's a part of yourself that likes your ex. So the authenticity would be you knowing what your body's saying, right? Knowing your body, you still love your ex. You still like your ex to a degree, but your mind's telling you no. Don't just say, I don't like my ex. I hate my ex. You have to admit you still have these feelings, but mentally you must disconnect from them. And that subtle difference, it may not look as a big of a difference, but within your body, within your aura, within your chakras, especially your throat chakra, there's a big difference between saying, I can't stand my ex, I hate my ex, and then versus saying, I know I still have these feelings, but I know my ex is not good for me. I need to let them go. And you can take this and apply it to any situation in life. You cannot be lying to yourself. You have to be authentic. And it plays a big difference because if you're inauthentic to yourself, you're going to be reflecting that and being inauthentic to those who you speak to, right? That subtle change within yourself is going to make a big change with how you speak with people. So that's what I see with the throat chakra. Another key point is that within our body, within our whole aura, a brain is what we would call like a big conglomerate of neurons, right? That's your brain. That's the brain that's in your head. But we would say we have three brains. One brain is in our head, is a bunch of neurons, right? This is the calculator, it's the big brain. But we also have the brain in our heart. Our heart has a conglomerate of neurons there, and it has a highway of neurons through the to and from the brain, and the neural connection between the heart and the brain going that way is stronger than the connection from the brain going to the heart. So really, your heart is making a lot of decisions that we don't think about, right? Your heart is a brain within itself. So when your two brains are not communicating, it affects your throat chakra because the throat chakra is the aspect of communication and expression. And the same with your GI tract, your stomach, your colon. We have neurons and neurotransmitters that are being, pumped out of our gut, right? We have oxytocin, serotonin, all these different things coming from the gut, but we have a brain right there. That's what we say, like, my gut feeling, or my gut's telling me this. It's because your gut's literally talking to you. Your gut's trying to talk to you. But if your gut's always telling you something, your heart's telling you something, and your mind's not guiding them correctly, like I said, your mind has to guide them. Then, and if you're just ignoring them, saying they're not even talking, you're causing inauthenticity within yourself, and then you're making that imbalance happen. So that's the throat chakra. Go ahead.
Marcus, the reason I be having to mute myself because I will be over here yesing and aha and ooh and so that's why I mute myself when other people are talking because it's the church in me, okay? It's the church in me, okay? I always say if I had a tambourine, I'd be shaking it because this, y'all. And they in the chat talk about, whoo, wow, this boy, Twerbo said this boy is a beast. Y'all,
hey, thank you.
Y'all, more than I ever expected. This is more than I ever expected. There's so many things just from everything, because you said three major things. Authentic self, okay? Because we think about the throat chakra, a lot of us only think about talking. But Marcus just explained the various aspects of communication, the aspect of understanding the communication between the three brains, okay? How they communicating with each other, being aware of that, being able to communicate that within yourself first and then verbally with others, if you choose. Marcus, I want to go all the way back to the beginning because you literally just spoke on something that's been on my spirit for a while. I want to do a live about boundaries. I want to do a live about boundaries. And I want to do a live about understanding the value of setting boundaries, but how boundaries actually work. Because I spoke about it in the past. I have an old video on boundaries. But when I went back and watched that video, I realized there's something that I didn't focus on enough was the importance of understanding that your boundaries are for you. Your boundaries are for you. And oftentimes, you know, because we are unconsciously aware that our boundaries are for us. And I feel like that's why we assume other people should automatically know them. And when you said that, when you spoke on that, that we assume that you should know what my lines, you should know what I am willing and not willing to tolerate. You should know. I feel like we assume that because your boundaries are not necessarily other people's responsibility. It's up to you to protect your sacred space. It's up to you to be aware of what you are and are not willing to handle or deal with or allow in your energy field. You could communicate that to the other person. They have the right to decide, are they going to respect what you communicated? But at the end of the day, it's up to you what you're going to do with their decision. They could say, I'm not going to respect that boundary. I'm going to do what I want to do anyway. I don't care how you feel. I don't care what's going to happen. And then we get upset. But then you still allow that person to be in your sacred space. You have no consequences. You are not upholding your own boundary. And I think when you spoke about the brains, the three brains and them communicating with each other, I think it's because a lot of us are setting boundaries from a space that is not authentic. A lot of us are setting boundaries based on society standards as opposed to what we really desire once we understand our gut, our heart, and our brain, our mind. How do you feel about that?
I feel that that's a good standpoint. I didn't think about that. Setting boundaries from authentic places. I didn't think about that, but yeah, that is something that would benefit for a lot of people if they analyze, like, where's this boundary coming from? What am I protecting? Like, am I setting this boundary properly from the first place? But yeah, I would say analyze your body. I would say analyze what your mind's saying, what your body's saying, what your emotions saying, also what your wisdom's saying, and then create a boundary for yourself. Not just a boundary that you think that is good for, like, good for someone, but good for you. Not a boundary that you think that, oh, okay, well, let me not set a boundary that I really want. Let me just set a boundary that I think that they'll be okay with. Like, no, look at what your body is. Look at what your body's saying, your wisdom saying, your intellect saying, and then make that boundary from that standpoint. So I didn't think about that, but that is a really good standpoint. That's a good point right there.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So that's something for y'all to take away when you're talking about your boundaries, because you know, something I've been telling folks a lot lately is there's value in community. You know, especially as Black folks, we are village people. We are tribal people. We are accustomed to community. And oftentimes on the spiritual journey, you know, we talk about solitude. Yes, you do. Solitude is valuable. You have to be able to live and be and breathe on your own, right? That's important. But But community is also valuable. Community is also important. And I feel so bad for people who struggle with finding a tribe, finding a community, and staying there. I'm finding that a lot of people, even once they pray for this community, they pray for friends, they pray for a partner, attract people. And then when you get it, you don't know how to maintain it for the long term because you lack that self-awareness and that communication. So y'all, this is so, hold on one second. Y'all, my Siri be turning on sometimes just to turn on. But this is so important because if you feel the crave, the call, the desire for community, if you feel the call, the crave for partnership, if you are here praying for a partner, a man, a woman, whoever, non-binary, whatever you're into, if you are here praying for somebody, okay, and you wondering why it's not coming, you may not be prepared. You may need to check in and become more self-aware of your needs and who you are, because let me tell you, when it comes, you want it to stay, okay, but for it to stay, you got to be willing to do the self-work and do your part, okay? So being able to communicate, balancing, and being aware of that throat chakra, that communication, and how all of it interconnects and plays a role. Now let's move forward. Let's move forward to the third eye, okay?
Real quick, I want to say, still on boundaries, one thing I don't like to like point out big differences between men and women, but in general, society makes it harder. How do I word this? I want to word this properly. Society makes it harder for women to set boundaries, right? Society makes it harder for a woman to speak up for herself because we're always trying to shrink the woman. That's always happening. It's always, I shouldn't say it's always going to happen, but that's what we can tell. So from a woman's perspective, like she's right in saying, like, if she's not setting her boundaries verbally, she's kind of right in that, because when she's talking to other women know certain boundaries. But when you're talking to a man, you have to set your boundaries firmly. So that's one thing I always advise women: set your boundaries firmly, because you're talking to a man. That man does not have to set his boundaries quietly. That man speaks them out. So he's not going to be receptive to you if you're not speaking them out to him. And from your perspective, you think you're being too hard or too harsh with this boundary, but no, that's what you need to do. This is a masculine figure you're talking to. You need to talk to him and set that boundary loudly, very clearly. There's no tippy-toeing, because if you talk to him like that, he can hear it more, he can conceptualize it more, and then you can see, like, okay, do you want to keep that person around you? If you set that boundary, then he's like giving you a hard time, you don't need to be around him or something, like, right? But either way, you have to set the boundary verbally. Do that.
Marcus, now this ain't fair, Marcus, because I wasn't expecting to go here today. But this is important, okay? Because if we're talking about relationship, right, and we're talking about women setting those firm boundaries, I feel like women verbalize those boundaries, y'all. And y'all, this is a sister speaking to sisters, okay? I'm a woman speaking to women. So please understand, this is not a man podcast, okay? Because a lot of, we got the male podcasters out here, and a lot of sisters, as soon as you address women, they get defensive. They be ready to argue, But it's important to understand that you could say that this is my boundary, and you could stand firm with that, as Marcus advised. But I want y'all to catch that part where Marcus said, basically, if he's not willing to respect that, you have to be willing to walk away. You have to be willing to walk away. Sisters, some of y'all are sitting over there listening to Marcus, and you like, but I did set the boundary. I did say it. I was clear. But when he crossed it, what did you do? But when he disrespected it, what did you do? You had no follow through. So that's what goes back to what we were talking about, in the sense of your boundaries are your responsibility. Okay, as Marcus said, set them, be firm, communicate, verbalize. You have to say that. But again, he has the right to not respect it. Then what will you do? You can't say something is a boundary, but every time it's crossed, you keep on moving the goalposts. You don't respect your own boundaries, so why should somebody else respect it? But okay, let's move forward, because we've been on a throat for a long time, okay? We've been on a throat for a long time, as we should, because that's the one that a lot of people struggle with the most. But I feel like the next chakra is one that people struggle with a lot as well, the third eye.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, moving up. So moving up, like I said before, the throat chakra and the brow chakra are both blue chakras, but the throat chakra is more light blue. The brow chakra is more dark blue. And yeah, and in your brow chakra, and we can say pineal gland, the third eye chakra, but that chakra and the crown chakra deal both with the mind. So if you have something that's healing your brow chakra, it's also going to heal your crown chakra, and vice versa, because they're both dealing with your brain. But the brow chakra specifically, that has to do it's the chakra of vision. That's with your ability to see, and not only see with your eyes, but see with your third eye, see with your imagination, and even be able to like conjure up shapes, like use your imagination, because not everyone has the most vivid imagination, right? But that ties into your brow chakra. And another thing is the critical thinking and discernment, right? So being able to discern, is this good or bad for me? It should I go left or right? And your ability to take your intellect and then dive into your wisdom and then try to make the right decision for you, like that's coming from your brow chakra. That's hyper discernment. That is critical thinking. That's all has to do with your brow chakra. And moving up, because the brow chakra, we can say, has different layers and kind of moves upwards. Once you move upwards within the brow chakra, you kind of get into aspects of unity. Like the concept of we're all one, like we're all one person, we're all one being, we're all one energy, right? And seeing the unity within yourself and other people, but not just other people, plants, animals, right? What, like the energy within the air, the energy within your aura. So just seeing yourself as one with energy. That's what happens when you're starting to balance your brow chakra. On the other side of that, you can have an overactive. You can be overactive and then have too much going on up here and not enough in your root chakra, not enough to keep you grounded. So sometimes when we start to move up into the brow chakra, and we start to get into concepts like opening your third eye, we get fixated there, and we don't have a grounding routine to help ground ourselves. So if I'm talking about the third eye, I'm talking about the brow chakra. I also have to mention, if you're going to start working with these upper chakras, if you're going to start to do a third eye meditation with this blue soda light, you have to have had a grounding routine. And I would say you shouldn't even try to open your third eye before you have a grounding routine. You should be well-versed within grounding yourself, be well-versed within, I feel weird, let me do something to ground myself. If you don't have that type of routine or that type of format to go to when you're not feeling grounded, then you don't need to be opening your third eye, because you're going to, I'm telling you this, I opened my third eye too early, right? So the thing is, your third eye will open by itself. It will do that by itself once you align yourself. But if you go around and start opening and forcing your third eye open, then you're forcing all of your energy upwards, and you may not know how to ground yourself after that. Now your ability to manifest is heightened. Now your ability to see things is heightened. And if that's heightened and you're not grounding yourself, when you see something that strikes fear within you, you're going to manifest more of that fear. So I don't want to say that scare anyone, but I'm just saying, like, be cautious once you start to open your third eye and stuff. Just be cautious. Like, maybe you should not force it open. Like, just let it open by itself. And but yeah, that's the third eye. And you about to say something?
Yes, I was. Because see, the thing about the third eye, I need y'all to catch that. Okay, I need y'all to catch that, how he connected the third eye to the root and the value of being grounded. Because y'all, before we started streaming, we was joking about the water. Okay, because I asked him, I said, are you like the water out of the mason jar and copper cup type? Like, are you one of those? Because I can always tell. That's a joke. It's a good thing to be that way. But I can always tell when someone is so focused on their third eye, and they're so driven about, okay, it's all about my third eye. I got to study the third eye. I got to open up my third eye. And that's usually people who are very early in their spiritual journey. And you can always tell, because though they're very airy. Okay, as Marcus called out, that third eye is about imagination. We associate it a lot with intuition, and yes, intuition is there, but it's really heavily about imagination and understanding how the intuition, the imagination can really take you to places that you should not necessarily be, because you lose the grounding in reality. So you have to be secure and balance in that root so you can remain grounded. You can always tell people who are too out there, because they get obsessed with the physical aspects of the spiritual journey. Okay, these are the people who, that's why I was making a joke about the jar and the copper, because one thing I love about Mark is he was like, everybody just basically, you do what you do. People who are too obsessed and too out there become shamers. They become the people who are like, if you don't drink out of this copper cup, you're gonna die and you're gonna get cancer and Those are the people who they become vegan, and I was gonna say eating ital, but they're not even eating ital because they're taking it a step further and full vegan. And they shame people who eat meat and shame people who consume dairy. They become the shamers because, again, their intentions are well. They're almost like evangelists where they're trying to convert you. They have this idea that they're saving you and saving the world, but they lack that grounding. And a part of that grounding is understanding that everyone's journey is different. A part of that grounding is understanding that what is for you and will align with you. And it's not about trying to control. Sometimes some people get too obsessed with the third eye and they get too airy and don't realize that you're so out there, then you begin to try to control with the idea that I'm waking everybody up. I'm waking up society, but you're actually trying to control society and becoming the very thing that you say you hate. So you have to be mindful of that. Another thing you have to be mindful of with that third eye is you don't want to start making shit up. Okay, that's why you got to be grounded in that root. Okay, you don't want to start over analyzing things, over analyzing dreams, over analyzing signs and omens from the universe, because you're so thirsty to be tapped in and open up your third eye that you're not grounded in reality and understanding like, hey, some things are just what they are, and it's not always a message or a sign from spirit or your intuition or third eye trying to speak to you. So if you're going to open up that third eye, you tapping into that third eye, trying to bring some balance to it, some understanding to it, prioritize that root as well so you can balance imagination, intuition, and being grounded, okay? Being grounded. Now, Marcus, they want to know specifically with crystals, you keep recommending the sodalite, right? Why is the sodalite so powerful? Because you recommended the sodalite for the throat. Because some people keep saying, "What about the crystals? What about the crystals?" He's saying the crystals, y'all. He's saying the crystals. You got to catch it because as he's talking, he's sharing the crystals. Okay, so you picked up the sodalite. The sodalite you picked up for the throat as well as the third eye, and I believe you also picked it up, if I'm not mistaken, for the sacral as well. So, no. Okay, explain the power of the sodalite, please.
So sodalite's it's a good go-to stone. It's a good go-to stone for your throat and brow chakra. It helps you to like I said, it helps you to balance that out. You can use any like blue crystal or something like a blue or purple crystal to open your third eye if that's your intent. But don't just try to force your third eye open. But before I say that, but yeah, it does help you to open your third eye. It helps you to balance it out. And helps you to find deeper levels of wisdom within yourself, and helps you to so like there's a how do I say, like a transmutation, or there's a moment when that intelligence becomes wisdom, like when you're applying that intelligence and it's becoming wisdom, and you can in a sense get more wisdom if your brow chakras balanced, right? You'll get more wisdom from the same life lesson. So you have this intelligence, you have this knowledge, and then a life lesson happens, then you apply that knowledge and you get wisdom from it. So in that whole process, you can use a brow chakra crystal so you can get more wisdom from the life lesson, so you can just get more bang for your buck to a degree. But yeah, this is sodalite. I wouldn't say like sodalite's a great stone to work with. It's just what I have in front of me. Like I have, because I could show you different ones, but I don't have all the other ones in front of me. But sodalite's a good one, but there are some different ones. Like Super 7 Amethyst may be one of the best ones for the brow chakra. Right? This is Super 7 Amethyst. So most amethyst you see is kind of purple, but this one's purple and it has red in it. And that's basically a mixture of 7 different crystals within one. And they just started calling it Super 7. Go ahead.
You said Super 7 Amethyst?
7 Amethyst, yes.
Y'all, Marcus putting us on the new shit. I ain't never even heard of that. Yeah, I ain't never even heard of no Super 7. Can you hold it up one more time?
Right here, Super 7 Amethyst. Let me see.
And remember what I said, y'all, about the different tones, the different shades within the amethyst. Look at that.
So yeah, it
Look
has
at that.
has the red on top. So it's dealing with the crown. It's really dealing with all your chakras, but it has to do heavy with the crown and your root chakra. So that's a powerful stone for both chakras, up and down. And we have these available. We have them in necklaces. You can buy the crystal just like this. It comes on a necklace, very similar to this, similar in size. The pendant, however, is not going to be a pendant this big now, but it'll be somewhere between, like somewhere probably like that big. That, oh, you can't really see that. Probably
we can see it.
Yeah, this. My screen's smaller. My bad. But it's probably somewhere around this size in a necklace. And it's a great stone to work with. Just check it out on my website. I have Super 7. It's all over my website. I have the crystals. Like I have crystal quizzes you can take on my website. Go to my website and then go to the app, and then you can start taking the 7 chakra quizzes. You can take quizzes to learn how to set the intention for your crystals. You can take a goal setting quiz. So there's a lot of stuff you can find. Just go to my website. You'll find a lot of information there, like a lot.
Y'all, the website is pinned. It's pinned in the chat. The website is pinned, okay? And when we finish this live and it uploads, I'm going to put more information in the description. The website is pinned. Go to the website, code QueenPo15. Go, go, go. Marcus, we got to finish it out, of course. Can you elaborate and share your knowledge, your wisdom on the crown chakra?
The crown chakra. So one of the things you were talking about, you were talking about, I don't know the first, I don't think you said this specifically, but dogmatism, being dogmatic, being spiritual, and then being so tied up into your spirituality and these ideas that you become rigid and dogmatic. So that's an aspect of an overactive brow and crown chakra. You being dogmatic to the point where you're rigid, to the point where you're so spiritual that you're not practical. You're so spiritual that you're not even getting money, right? You keep saying, "Oh, money, I don't want money." Look, you see, I'm manifesting back here. I got the money on the wallpaper. Money is energy source, right? We need the money.
Marcus, you better stand on these hoes, Marcus. You better stand on these hoes, Marcus.
But you'll see people so spiritual, like they're literally like talking down on money. So like that's just an overactive crown chakra. They're putting all these things above everything that seems low vibrational, right? Money is technically low vibrational. We can admit that. But it's a valuable resource. It's a very valuable resource. You can take money, you can heal a community really quickly with money, right? You can do a lot of positive things with a lot of money. So money's good. But you see that with the overactive crown chakra, people starting to shame people for money or shame people for living some type of lifestyle or anything that's quote unquote low vibrational. And to speak on low and high vibrational, not everything low vibrational is bad, right? Not everything low vibrational is bad. Within your chakras, your root chakra is actually a low vibrational chakra because it's more dense. So we need low vibrational things. Not everything high vibrational is good. Believe it or not, not everything high vibrational is good. So you can't just say high vibrational versus low vibrational, because you see the stuff with the sister talking about the plates.
Coach Stormy, go ahead. Go ahead.
That had me so dead. But yeah, just being dogmatic and judgmental to a degree. That's the crown chakra. But on the other side of that, the balance is the balance of having these, of deifying certain practices and certain things about your spirituality and thinking highly of it. Go ahead.
Marcus, that's the perfect term. Deifying practices. Deifying practices. So y'all, please be self-aware and please be mindful of not deifying practices and becoming dogmatic, becoming that person who is a shamer, becoming that person who is an evangelist, because a lot of people start their spiritual journey and you're running from the church, but then you become the very thing you hated in the church. Okay, you become the old church lady who rejected all the women because they didn't dress as they felt church women do. You become that person who you get on your spiritual journey and you shame sisters for wearing lace fronts and having a face beat. That's the person you become. You that old church lady now. You become that old deacon who talks down to the young guys with their pants sagging. You become that when you on a spiritual journey and you shaming other people, other men, because they not draped in crystals and they not walk around with freeform locks. So that's how we may choose to do that. You may choose to do that, but you having that makes you no more or less spiritual, no more or less powerful than anybody else. If you are doing something, be sure, again, it all connects back because it goes back to that living in your authentic self. Be sure to know that you are doing that because that's who you really are. And that's what you really desire, and not what you think you should do because you are on this journey. Don't get on this journey of spirituality and become an anti-capitalist. Or I'm anti-capitalist. I hate money, hate money, hate money. We hate the wealthy. We hate the rich, because you think that's just what people who are on a spiritual journey should do. And that's how you should think. And this also goes for like meditating. Meditation is not necessarily for everybody. Like I always tell you, everybody's not going to sit with the and chanting. That may not be your thing. Your version of what meditation looks like for you may be different than what it looks like on the traditional path. So don't become dogmatic and feel like you have to go with the traditional route or traditional practices. Don't be that person who lacks self-awareness to understand that I am because I am, but you are because you are. And all of it is interconnected and all of it works together. So the crown chakra, Marcus, understanding the crown chakra. Now, as we begin to unpack that, right? So we talked about, the power of balancing, having the balance in vibrations, okay? Understanding that everything low vibrational is not bad for you, right? Everything high vibrational is not good for you, and bringing in that balance. How will someone know if their crown is not open? How will they know if they have a blockage there? And what are some things they can do to open up and bring balance to that crown?
Great question. So one of the ways is to, there's multiple ways, but like if you're having trouble, really feeling like if you're not feeling like you're connected to a higher self or a higher version of self, that often tends to block your crown chakra. Just not feeling that way, and what you have to do is know. You have to know that your ancestors do dwell with you. Like they are inside of you. They are outside of you. When you speak, they are listening. Right. So it's that aspect of knowing. Sometimes we don't feel connected to our ancestors or our spirit team or whatever, because we're not getting certain signals or signs, right? We're waiting to see it, right? So what it would take to balance that out is just to know that, hey, I am connected with them. I may not be receptive, but they are actually speaking to me. I may not get the confirmation, but they're actually hearing when I'm praying. So like that would be one way to know, or one way to open up your crown chakra. Another way, people get so stuck on not knowing their life purpose, and they're so stressed out on their life purpose, they feel so out of alignment. One thing would be to know that you cannot be out of alignment. Like you can only feel out of alignment. But even if you feel out of alignment, you are actually still in alignment. There's no mistakes here. There's no mistakes. So it's that aspect of knowing that you're divinely protected, knowing that you don't have to play within karma. Like karma plays itself out without you, right? You don't have to play this figure or not have faith that there's something else higher than you taking care of things. What we have when our crown chakras blocked is we just don't have that faith that there's something outside of ourselves that's like praying for us and making sure everything's straight for us. So that's how you have to build that up. You build that faith within yourself. You build that faith that your ancestors are here with you, right? They're here currently with you, and know that there's no mistakes. Like and even people get caught up on the life purpose, and I get it. What one tip, a practical tip on life purpose is to know that life purpose changes and evolves, right? Life purpose is not just this one thing. You have a life purpose, you move forward, it's going to change and evolve with you. What you need to do is take what you have, take all your habits, your hobbies, your routines, what you love, and form it into a life purpose for the present moment. Find your life purpose for today, then keep stepping and allow it to unfold. And then boom, it comes out of nowhere at night. You got your life purpose. It feels firm. It feels in alignment. It feels good for you. Then boom, 3 years later, you're doing something else. 4 years later, you're doing something else. A decade, and it evolves. But go ahead, you about to say something?
Marcus, you are a problem. You are a problem. You are a problem. You're a problem, Marcus. Marcus, they're not prepared. I don't think people are prepared for this understanding. Okay. You said so many things. Number one, understanding. Let's go start from where you ended and go back. Understanding the life purpose. Understanding that how you show up in that purpose changes over time. It may look different. Okay, it may look different. So when you see someone, or even see it within yourself, and you're like, okay, I have no focus, I have no willpower because I'm always changing, I don't stick to anything. Who told you had to do the same thing for 20 or 30 years straight?
School, that's it.
What European standards are you living by? that told you that if you don't do the same thing for 30, 40, 50 years straight until you retire, you are a problem? Who taught you that? Who taught you that? Okay, so I want you to just keep that in mind. For anybody out there who's wondering why you are a fluid mover, why you float, why you keep going and keep changing and keep reforming, it's nothing wrong with you. You are living in your divine purpose and you are embracing that. You are embracing the thing that some people fear, which is change. Now, speaking of fear, Marcus, everything you said about the knowing that your ancestors dwell with you, knowing that you are in alignment, trusting that the universe will align you with what is in your alignment, trusting that it all happens for a reason, trusting that karma is going to karma with or without you. You have to do nothing to impact karma, trusting that above all, you are well. Family, how many times I tell y'all this? People are so fear-based. Well, what about the bad ancestors? Well, what if somebody is praying against me? What if somebody is trying to attack? What if somebody is putting a root or a spell? What if? All of that is fear-based. All of that is fear-based. What Marcus is telling you is that when you are open, when you are balanced, you have to know that you are well. You have to know that you are in alignment. You have to know that your ancestors are surrounding you and they are protecting you. You just have to know. You just have to know. And there's, Marcus, because I was going to say, there's not even really like a specific recommendation that you could tell someone to get them to know. Like, how do you, I don't even know how to tell people to get them to know other than saying you have to build that trust. You have to know. How do you feel about that? Like, what do you say to people?
I would say a lot of it comes from, so like a lot of this does stem from some part when we were younger and our needs didn't get met, and we have a fear-based, like, we just don't think that we're taken care of. We don't think that something is going to be taken care of. We don't think that life can really play out the way it's supposed to, because at some point when we were younger, we were convinced of that. Something traumatized us to believe, like, oh, if I don't struggle to do this, it's not working. If I'm not struggling, I'm not getting the results. So and life is not just going to fall into my life. Like, life can't just perfectly align. So the one thing I can say is just like, try to, if you're struggling with that knowing, try to see where that's coming from, maybe. And that could be a step. There could be many steps to heal this. But one way, just like, has there been issues when I was younger where my needs weren't met, where I got my hopes up and then something kept crashing it, right? And oftentimes that is what's going to lead to you not having this trust within the universe, is because you couldn't trust your guardian at some point. So someone was traumatized and your needs weren't met. So that would be one step. Another step would be to see the divinity within nature, like spend some time in nature and say, like, damn, like, this stuff out here is beautiful, like, this all perfectly coordinated, and then realize, like, hey, that beauty in nature does exist within humanity. It just plays out in a different way, but just as it's divine out there, it's still divine within humanity. There's still balance in here. It's just playing out way different. But that is the one thing you kind of have to build. And I don't really know the best way to do it, but you kind of have to build your trust within that, and then find what ways you feel safe. Find what ways that make you feel secure.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. Like, and thank you for that, because see, I wasn't even lining that up. I wasn't even, because essentially what he's talking about is shadow work, right? He's talking about understanding, the coping mechanisms that you have as a result of some childhood traumas, and a coping mechanism that you may have. And I had myself, I spoke about before, where, when you grow up in a lack of stability, when you grow up being unsure, uncertain, and this could be emotional stability, financial stability, anything, right? When you don't have stability, you don't trust what's next. You feel like you always got to keep going. You feel like you got to make it happen. You are used to moving in force. And on top of that, you become, and I learned this, I remember a while ago, I was working a traditional job, and my spirit was telling me to leave. It was telling me to leave. And I was nervous. And one of my coworkers, he said, you know what, Poe? He said, something I know about you. And he thought this was a compliment, but I was like, that ain't good. He said, something I know about you is that you are comfortable being uncomfortable. So you'll be okay. And what I realized was I had found comfort in a lack of stability. And it was because that's what I was accustomed to. When you grow up not being stable, and this is for anybody who grew up moving a lot. This is for anybody who grew up with financial struggles. This is around anybody who grew up with emotional instability. When you grow up being in an unstable situation, you find comfort there because it is home. When you grow up in an unstable home, you associate the lack of stability with home. And a lot of us do that. So that is connected to shadow work. You have to heal that. Okay. You have to heal the reason why you don't trust. You have to heal the reason why you find so much comfort in a lack of stability. And when stability comes, then you basically self-sabotage and try to fuck shit up so you can get back to your comfort zone, which is a lack of stability. You have to heal that. So thank you for making that connection, Marcus, because all of that comes from, is associated with fear and a lack of trust in everything. Okay. So Marcus then gave us a lot. All right. He done dropped a lot of gems. He shared a lot. Marcus, I'm going to allow you to flow and ask you, what is something right now, like on your spiritual journey, right now, what are you feeling passionate about? What are you studying? What's piquing your interest in this moment?
Well, in the moment, I've been heavy focused on business in the moment. But I would say, aside from that, I've been doing a lot of shadow work. I've been doing a lot of shadow work this year. So I'm glad you touched on that. And also authenticity. But like I've been speaking, like the stuff I've been speaking passionately about is the stuff that I've been kind of ramping up within myself. Being able to like say like, okay, and then being able to speak to myself, be comfortable with speaking to myself in a third person sense to like heal my inner child, like doing a lot of deep inner child healing. But I said, like, kind of like mentally, I've been focused on business, but emotionally, I've been focused on like healing my inner child, speaking to myself in third person, like saying like, oh, what does Marcus need right now? Or why? And just be comfortable. If you have to get comfortable, if you're not comfortable speaking in third person, get comfortable with it. But like, what does Marcus need right now? Why is Marcus doing this? Why do I feel this way? What's the true reason? Is that really why you feel this way? Is that really why you're reaching out to this person? What's the real reason behind it? Is it because you're lonely? Is it because you need attention right now? So like I've been kind of babying myself. I've been reparenting would be a better term of it, but reparenting myself and then starting to validate my emotions, right? To listen to my emotions, to be authentic within my emotions. And yeah, that's what I've been more so doing.
Thank you, because you already answered the question without being asked, y'all. That's shadow work. Okay, what he's talking about is shadow work. So people are saying, how do we heal the trauma? How do we heal the trauma? He's sharing with you the how. He explained to you that right now within himself, he's passionate about shadow work and he's reparenting himself. Go back and watch my shadow work video, the first one. Then there's another follow-up one that you need to go watch with steps on how to do your shadow work. But that's the how. That's the how to heal. Now, this is the last thing that we're going to wrap it up because I don't want to take up your whole day. The last thing, you said that you are passionate right now about business. I do want to touch on the business, okay? Because again, Inner Crsytallization is the website. The website is pinned in the chat. It will also be in the description box once this video is over. Code Queen Poe 15. Queen Poe 15 is the code. This is the thing with business. I love earlier how you stunned it. You know what I'm saying? You had to let them know. You had to let them know. You know that you manifesting over there.
Yeah, actually,
how's your business mind operating? And of course, you don't have to share everything, but share what you feel comfortable with. For anybody who's starting a small business, for anybody who's like, wondering, how do I start this? How do I make this lucrative? What advice would you give? How's your business mind operating right now?
Okay, that's a great question. So like there's lots of advice that I can give, but I do know that most of the people in here watching are women on their healing journey. You have a lot of creativity. Go ahead.
Hold on 1 second, Marcus, because you know we got some brothers in here.
Okay.
Royal Goddess said he feels aligned with you. Okay, he feels aligned with you. So it's a lot of brothers in here who are watching, who are, you know, that's another thing I wanted to talk to you about too, is like being on a spiritual journey from a Black male perspective. But we could talk about that after the business. Okay, well go ahead.
But I say a lot of creative energy. But the advice still applies. The advice would have applied to me. But so there's a lot of avenues that we want to venture off with, right? We have a lot of ideas. We're creatives, right? And what you have to do is you have to be aware of what you're truly wanting. Be aware of what you like truly want to do to transact to make money, or not even transact to make money, but what you want to do in life. And then say like, hey, is this what I want to do to make money, or is this what I wanted to do to enjoy my passions, right? I like making jewelry. I like working with crystals. But it got to a point where I was like, I don't really want to make I didn't mean to say make crystal, I meant to say make jewelry. But it got to a point where I didn't feel like making jewelry like that. Like I didn't really want to. And but I can't push through it. But the advice that I would give is choose one thing, right? Choose the one thing that's going to get the money in the door and focus on that. We have all these different things. We have all these side projects that we want to do, but one thing is going to pay for it all, right? You're going to choose one business, you're going to grow it, and then that's going to pay for all the other business ventures. That's going to pay for your life purpose. That's going to pay for you creating this impact on the community. Because sometimes if we're too, I mean, I want to project, but sometimes I see people get too purpose driven, and that disturbs them getting in the money. I only want to do this way, or I only want to focus on this aspect of the business. Like, no, focus, just get the money in the door. And then fuel your life purpose on the way. Another thing I would say is digital products. If we want to get into business, get you some digital products. I've been selling crystals for 6 years now. I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years, selling crystals for 6 years. I've been selling physical products all the time. Digital products is the wave to go into. If you have a physical product, have a digital product counterpart with that. Like if I'm selling crystals, I also have a ebook I started selling. I have some coaching services, like stuff that's not physical. So if you have your physical products, have your non-physical products as well. And the last tip, this is a super business tip, right? Super business tip. You want to have customer retention. And this is going straight into business. Collect that email address, collect that phone number, do something so you can retain that customer and you can keep contacting them over and over again, because that is what builds wealth, right? What builds wealth is your ability to continue to make money over and over again. A brand that builds wealth, right? An email list, a text message list, that's wealth. If you're just making the sale, that's money. That's riches. You're just getting a lot of money. If you have no way to make sure you're getting sales over and over again through the customer retention, through building your own community, through having some way that your audience can engage with you while you're asleep, right? If you don't have that, then you're not building wealth. So that's what I would say. Have the idea to get the money in the door, but do some principle to build wealth so you can sustain that. But I can talk about business for a long. I'm a business. I've been in books on business. I can talk about that for like a whole week now.
Listen, that's we gonna have to do a separate live about that, because you said a lot that I'm like y'all because you know I do business consulting as well, and the thing I realize is that you know as Black folks, y'all we gotta get in tune. Yes. Okay, we got to get in tune when it comes to growing a business. And there's a fundamental aspect about it. And you have to learn how to understand you could be on your spiritual journey, but don't be so fixated on your spiritual journey that you are blocking your own blessings and manifestations because you're telling yourself that these things are not for your wellness. I told y'all this when we talked about the new moon, right? Understanding that's when we talked about the Scorpio alignment with the sun, right? And we are still in Scorpio energy. We are still in that fluid, moving energy. When we talked about the Venus conjunction in Scorpio, and we talked about bringing that physical, monetary wealth and wellness. You can't reject that by talking about, money is not good for you and it's the root of all evil and having that mentality. But then you want to align yourself with the vibration of abundance and wealth. And in this world that we live in today, money is the tool that is used to retain. Yes. Okay, so you have to try to understand the alignment with your mind and your spiritual journey. Some of y'all are working against yourself with manifestation. Okay. And then you are wondering why your business is not growing. You are wondering why you are stuck on that traditional 9 to 5 and your entrepreneurship goals are not manifesting. It's because you're not moving in alignment. And then you have to study business. So Marcus just shared some key tips on how to grow your business. I hope y'all took that. Dropping gems all day. Yes, yes. Now the thing is,
go ahead.
No, you finish up because I was gonna move forward. Go ahead.
Another tip on money and manifestation. So those were more practical insights on like, so like you manifest in different ways. That's a third dimensional way of manifesting. That's like you seeing what's in the physical reality, and then you getting the stuff done and then organizing that. That's third dimensional. So fourth and fifth dimensional is where we're tapping into the mind and manifesting money, manifesting prosperity, abundance, and whatever. But we have to reprogram our mind. We have to reprogram our mind because it's hard to. You're not going to be having a good time being spiritual and trying to manifest some money, manifest prosperity to your business. If at some level that you think you truly believe that money is bad, right? Money does not want to be around you at that point. You're not going to be a vibrational match for that money if you're thinking, oh, money's bad, money's not spiritual, money's the devil. Like, no, money is just it's an exchange of energy. Is money low vibrational? Yes, it technically is low vibrational, but does it get the job done at the end of the day? Will it help you towards your life purpose? So you have to reprogram your mindset towards money. That way you can start attracting more money, because money would love to be around you if you had a positive outlook on it, right? We need to just align ourselves with prosperity if we're trying to be prosperous. We have to do that. But go ahead.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So I just want you to know you are resonating with so many people. I'm just looking at the chat, and so many people are like, yes, I'm in alignment. Roy Goddard said that he just took a class on digital marketing. So he feels like this is, directly aligned. People are happy that they came in right at this time. I want to finish up with understanding your perspective, your view of the spiritual journey as a Black man. Okay. And y'all, I asked, when we first started communicating a while ago, I asked him how he identifies. Okay. So let's be clear. Okay. So as a Black man being on a spiritual journey, something that has come up in the wellness community, in chats of previous lives is, why don't you see a lot of Black men on their spiritual journey? Why aren't there just as many Black men as you see Black women talking about spirituality and teaching these things? Oftentimes we are only seeing Black men as like the life coaches in a sense of business only, but talking about spirituality and manifestation, you aren't openly seeing as many Black men discuss this. Why do you think that is? And how has being a Black man impacted your perception and your perspective as a person on their spiritual journey?
Okay. So I would say we don't see as many Black men on the spiritual journey because it takes a level of balancing out your feminine energy and not being afraid of judgment. A Black man coming from the South, right? Coming from the South. If we do anything that's kind of feminine, there's something that goes on in our mind that says that's gay. Don't do that. That's gay. Don't be doing this feminine practice. That's gay. That's for girls. And back I went to Laney. You get jumped. You get jumped if you do something looking too girly. So that's been imprinted in the back of our mind to like, don't do anything like that because your livelihood is at stake. So like it's a level of brainwashing that has been happening to men that makes it harder for men to tap into their emotions, to start even opening up to themselves about their emotions. So like that's just one of the biggest things. Another thing on emotions, men are always taught to man up. Like men's emotions haven't really been validated like that. So we stop validating them ourselves. And that like your spiritual journey is like really tied on top of your personal development journey, your emotional healing journey. It goes hand in hand. Every time you're saying I'm doing some spiritual healing, there's some part of yourself that's doing emotional healing at the same time, right? But how can that happen if this person does not validate their own emotions, does not even listen to their own emotions, is honestly afraid of their own emotions? So like that's why you don't see as many men on that journey, because they subconsciously think it's gay and they think that they're going to get outcasted. They think they're going to be looking too girly, doing some burning incense and holding crystals like that. That's not for me, bro, blah, blah, blah. And it's going to look weird when you go around the homeboys. Why are you doing that spiritual stuff? Why are you doing that? So it's a level of judgment there. and a level of the Black man just not knowing that it's okay to be emotional. It's okay. You're a human. You're a human. It's just that you've been told to man up, and that served you well at some ages, at some points. You were going through conflict, you were going through struggle, you didn't know how to make it, but you told yourself to man up. So you tucked your emotions away and you got the job done. And that kept working for you over and over again. But what that did is harm your spiritual connection. That got the food on the table, that got the job done, but it also harmed your spiritual connection. It kind of tapped you out. You're not tapped in at that point. So what we need to do is, if you're gonna man up, and tuck your emotions away, you have to do some work at the end of that to validate your emotions after that. Because sometimes it's okay to quote unquote man up. Sometimes it is okay to tuck your emotions away so you can get the job done. But if you're only doing that and there's no space where you're validating your own emotions, or there's no one that you feel comfortable, that's another thing. Black men don't know who to confide to. Like, we have no clue who to confide to, and we just have to realize, like, as Black men speaking to whoever Black men in the audience, you can confide to whoever. No one's judging you. No one's judging you as harshly as they think you are. No, if they truly love you, they're going to think of you as a human being. They're not going to think of you as this poor imbecile because you need emotion. You need emotional maintenance. Like, you're a human being, just like everyone else. So tend to your emotions and be more open. But one thing I can say I've learned a lot on my journey as a Black man is to validate my own emotions. I can't wait for some cue for someone to, like, validate my emotions, because oftentimes it's just not going to happen. Right? I'm a Black man. People aren't going to say, like, oh, it's okay to be emotional, King. And that some beautiful people, like, you're going to say that. Some beautiful people are going to say that, but that doesn't happen all the time. So what you need to do as a Black man is to validate your own emotions. If something makes you feel shitty, don't lie to yourself and say, like, that ain't bother me. You have to tell yourself, yes, this did bother me. Because if you don't, you're not going to heal on your spiritual journey. You have to admit that you are hurt. You have to admit that you are hurting. Black men are hurting right now, and they're not admitting it. That's the biggest problem. And the thing is, women are trying to come in and heal. Babe, you can try to, but if he's not budging, he's not budging, because he needs to see this within himself. And sometimes people can't just point that out, because there's I can go on a tangent on there, but yeah.
The thing is, Mike, first off, everything you are saying, Roy God has said he about to cry. Okay, everybody is in the chat like, yes. They got chills. Okay, you, Marcus, so much. That understanding of embracing the feminine, embracing emotion, understanding that you first off within yourself have to create the safe space, even when the world isn't creating the safe space, and understanding that there is value in expression. Okay, and moving away from societal expectations of manhood.
Yes.
And not just manhood as a whole, but manhood especially for Black men. Yeah. Okay, moving away from that, disconnecting from that, and feeling comfortable showing up as you are. And they can label you whatever they want to label you, but again, that knowing you know who you are. Now, Marcus, I have to ask you, how has this impacted your connection and your interaction in the dating world and with partners?
Well, me personally, I'd say I'm poly. Like, I'm polyamorous. I'm straight. I'm straight, heterosexual man, but I'm polyamorous. I'm responsibly polyamorous. So, like, polyamorous is when you're dating other partners, and those partners can date whoever they want to, as long as you guys agree, right? Polygamy, however, is when there's one man with multiple wives, and those wives can only date other women or other wives. So that's the difference between polyamory and polygamy. I'm polyamorous. I don't care. Just healthy communications, high vibrations. Don't date anyone that's an asshole, because we don't want that energy within whatever we're doing. But yeah, that ties directly into it. I'm open to dating in general, but I'm not too fixated on trying to find someone, like, as a full life partner. I'm more so just healing in general. My whoever I date with, or whoever I exchange energy with at any rate, from my standards, have to be on their spiritual journey at some level, because it doesn't matter if this isn't the person you want to spend your life with. They have to meet your standards to some degree, because if you're having sex with someone, you're exchanging energies. They have to meet certain standards. If they have bad habits in their life, you may not adopt that same exact habit, but there may be a similarity between that habit and the habit that you are getting as you're energetically exchanging with them through sex. So like there's a certain boundaries that I have. Like I know I'm a spiritual man. I'm gonna deal with someone that's being healthy in some type of way, that has some type of purpose, that has some type of routines that upkeep their emotions, their well-being, their spirituality. And if those routines are missing, then me personally, I just wouldn't date them, because that energy is going to be transferred over to me, and then I see myself lacking, and then I'm going to have resentment towards them. So I try to not do that, because I don't want any weird energy. And then I can just exchange energy as friends. Like we can just be cool, non-sexual partners. But yeah, I'm poly myself, and that's how my spirituality ties into that. And I don't really have to do the sister wives thing. Like currently, like that, like the girls that I date, I don't really care for them like trying to mix or mingle. Like it's not really a thing that I desire. But it's a cool idea. I think there's a lot of growth to be there. But just me personally, that's not something I'm fixated on. Like I'm not fixated on trying to form something like that.
Okay. So first off, thank you for saying respectful polyamory, and thank you for being very clear with the definition of polyamory versus polygamy, and how it shows up, or how you show up in the dating world, being a man on your spiritual journey, and you want to be aligned with sisters who are also on their spiritual journey, in some way. Y'all don't have to be doing the exact same. Go ahead.
But I don't want to interrupt you, but I do want to add, because I don't want to like give the misconception. But polyamory in general, if people have the connotation where like polyamory is like everyone's just sleeping with everyone. Like no, like within real life, I wouldn't just have sex with a random girl and not have consulted with my partner first. Like with who I'm dating, who I have sex with, they're going to know. Like they're gonna see their Instagram. I'm gonna talk to them. Are you okay with this? Are there any concerns? We'll have a conversation, and then I would go there. So like this is like it's a real thing. It's not like we're just willy-nilly. Like no, if she has sex with someone, she's gonna tell me first. We're gonna have a conversation. I'm gonna see like, oh, this person's healthy. This person's not a dickhead. This person's not an asshole. They're gonna treat you right, treat you respectfully, because that is a temple that like we're all sharing temples here. So we're just not randomly doing stuff. We're consulting. This is a full practice, and there's no random. There's no random like, oh, I just slept with someone. You just slept with someone. I would cut someone off. If they just slept with someone randomly, that's not what we agreed to. That's not what I want. That's just random.
Now, Marcus, I got even more questions. We supposed to end the live, but Marcus, you keep on bringing new things, because that's a new level of polyamory that I have never even heard of. So y'all, I tried polyamory back in my younger days, back in my younger days. It did not work out, because the brother, it's good, it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it, like it was very much that. But understanding what you just said about the healthy communication, understanding that like this is not a thing with, okay, I'm doing my thing, you do your thing, but we also do our thing with each other. That's what a lot of us associate, including myself. When I thought of polyamory, I thought of the dynamic of you have your partners, you do your thing. I have my partners, I do my thing, and we are also together. But your business is your business, my business is my business. I never understood or even heard of that aspect of, almost like consensual polyamory, if that makes sense. That's what it sounds like consensual polyamory.
Very intentional polyamory, very intentional, very, very thought out, well planned. Nothing's happening randomly. Like if that would not be something that I agree with. The women that I often date, they would not be cool with that at all. Like that's something like if you're considering someone, like even if like I would go on a date, but like if this is a date with a romantic interest, like the girls that I entertain, these are like really close friends to me, right? Like they're like on some best friend type shit. So I'm gonna tell them, like if I'm talking to someone new, I'm telling them because they're damn near my best friend. Like I'm spending a lot of time with them. So, but in general, yeah, like that's the thing about intentional polyamory, and that's like it's more common than we think. And when people say like they hear me say polyamory, they just think everyone's willy-nilly like some random stuff. Like no, that's so far from it. Like everything's really, really well planned out. And another thing, hygiene, like energetic hygiene. If I'm with one partner one day and another partner one day, I'm saging myself in between, right? I'm not just going to be leaking energy, like trying to, I'm saging myself very frequently. I'm smudging myself very frequently. I'm cleansing myself very frequently. New
term alert. Okay, energetic hygiene. Marcus just gave us that gem. Energetic hygiene. Marcus, I'm snatching that one up.
Take it off.
Energetic hygiene. Speak on it. Speak on it.
Because we're carrying on energies. Like we're carrying, if you don't think about it, you're carrying on karmic cycles, right? So if you're dealing with two people at once, some of their energy will be collided into you, and they're going to exchange energy with each other at some rate. So you being that vessel in between, you have to cleanse yourself. Like you have to. I mean, I shouldn't say you have to, but like that's what we're aiming for. We're talking about high vibrational polyamory. We have to be aiming for that. Cleanse yourself in between, and just be very responsible. One thing about polyamory, people think that jealousy doesn't happen. Jealousy happens within friendships. Jealousy happens within multiple friends. So yes,
natural human emotion. It's a natural human emotion.
Very much so. And very well. That does not mean that they're a bad polyamorous partner. That does not mean their relationship's bad. It just means like, hey, this is the emotion. What matters is how are we going to deal with it? You're jealous. What are we going to do now? We want to talk it out. Do you need me to reassure you more? What do you need at the end of the day? And then that's high vibrational polyamory. If you guys are trying to do polyamory, do just have a lot of communication. Don't get sucked into some. Do not get sucked into some random man's trying to create a bunch of sister wives, and you can't date another man if you want to. That's not the relationship with you. Even if you're interested in this person, if you're going to convert to their dynamic, you should do that because you want to, not because you think you're going to miss out on them. Do it because you think that this is the dynamic that you can grow within. Don't do it because of one specific person, because, I'm never going to meet another person like them, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, sit down with yourself. If they're trying to rush you or force you into this dynamic, they're trying to convince you into it, the dynamic's not meant for you. It should be something that you're kind of like excited to join. If it's not that, then you probably shouldn't do it. Polyamory is not for everyone, right? It's not. Monogamy is not. And the thing is, I've been polyamorous. Like I've never been monogamous. I've never been that type of person. I've always been very upfront. Even when I was very, very young, I remember like being interested in multiple women and then not really caring if they dated other people. Like it wasn't that big of a thing. I only cared about it because like society told me to, and then people said, "Oh, someone having sex with your girl." Like, but honestly, it never really fazed me. I kind of pretended like I did when I was younger, just so I could fit in. But that's not on that. But there's a polyamory. That's a whole different subject. But yeah, that's that on that.
Okay, y'all, I just gotta tell the chat. Okay, y'all relax it. I'm gonna get him to shout out his socials at the end. Okay. Y'all cool it down now. Okay, go get you a towel. All right.
I don't know. Comments. I'm just
Marcus, let's just say that they're really resonating with you. Okay. They're vibrating high. Okay, their roses will be active tonight. Okay. So this is the thing with understanding, polyamory and how you practice it with intentional. First off, I love that phrasing, intentional polyamory. I love that. Also, energetic hygiene. I love that as well. You spoke on how you communicate, you and your partner discuss these things. With that, because again, this is my first time ever hearing this aspect or this form of polyamory. When you say like y'all are communicating, if you have multiple partners, is there like a main partner, or is everyone aligned and you're doing this equal communication with everybody, or are you only communicating this with like the main partner, if that makes sense?
Great question. So I would say, like you would say you maybe have a main partner for something. So like maybe one of my partners is actually my best friend, but we just have a sexual relationship with each other as well, right? But she's actually my best friend in life. And then I'm just giving an example. I have one partner now, like right currently. But another partner, that could be more like my romantic love. That could be more like a romantic interest. So like when I'm having a best friend dynamic, we're both very clear on it. We just love each other in that way. And then we have a sexual relationship. On the other side, this is someone I'm looking towards for more of my romance. We're having a romantic relationship. And there's just more romance involved in there. And there could be just different relationship dynamics for different people. But all that stuff is kind of made up. Like you kind of just communicate that with your partner to see what you want. Because not everyone wants even a partner that should be their best friend. Like some people just want a sexual partner that they can grow with. And that would be more like a life partner to a degree, but I shouldn't say life partner and like you're going to spend the rest of your life with, but it's someone that you're growing with, and you just have to have you happen to have a sexual relationship with them as well. But it's different. It's different for every scenario, and that's something I kind of just talk out with the girl, and I'm very honest. Like, hey, like this, like when I was dealing with, like I had a different partner before, and she was my best friend. So like when I would introduce, I would say, hey, this is actually my best friend. I don't really care what you're saying. This is my best friend. So like a lot of my energy is actually going to do with her. Don't get jealous. If you get jealous, just tell me, then we can talk it out. I can reassure you, whatever. But this is like, that's the spot that we have. And it's not too much, it's not romance there. Like it's just like best friend type stuff, buddy type stuff, but we can have something romantic. So like, it would just be communicating and just being honest, being as honest as you can and not putting up a forefront. But I hope, did that answer your question?
That definitely answered the question. That definitely answered it. And the last question, and then we're gonna wrap up. The last question is, being on this journey and understanding, your spirituality. You spoke about how, your being on a spiritual journey impacts your dating, impacts, intentional polyamory practice. Understanding the power of, energy and energy exchange. You talked about the energetic hygiene. What are some ways that you cleanse yourself and you purify your energy and you maintain balance to ensure that you are energetically well, just for yourself as well as for your partners?
Awesome question. So there's different ways. One thing is to know, like, stuff gets stored up into the body. Like a lot of even mindsets, even mental arguments get stored up into different parts of your body as tension. So like there could be some type of form of argument that always plays in your mind, but there's a physical counterpart of that argument that exists within your body, and there's tension there, and that forms into different types of arguments. But that's just to say that tension can have a lot to do with your mindset. So what I do is I do steams, like a quick sauna twice a week. That I do saunas to cleanse my energy, right? I do that so I can cleanse myself. It's a steam sauna, so it's a lot of steam. It cleanses my lungs and it gets a lot of sweat going. So I'm cleansing energy that way. A lot of breath work. I do breath work to cleanse myself a lot. So that could be through running, yoga, meditation. Like I do that into all of my practices. I do like martial arts, I dance. So like within all of my physical practices, I intend to breathe so I can cleanse my body. Cause like your breath is your connection with prana, you could say, and that's a direct connection. So if you need to cleanse yourself, you can do breath work so you can inhale new energy and then let out energy that you don't no longer need. So you can just apply that same intention behind different workouts or different things, and have that intention to do that. Other than that, I work with selenite a lot. Selenite's all over my house. Satin spar selenite. We have it in jewelry. We have it in necklaces. We have selenite all over our site. So there's certain crystals that can help you cleanse yourself, like selenite, black tourmaline. Black tourmaline helps you to absorb negative energy. We have black tourmaline rings, necklaces. We have it in a Dalmatian jasper bracelet. We have black tourmaline in there. And yeah, just check my website for any cleansing crystals. I use sound bowls, like I do sound healing as well. Just healing in the water, cleansing in the water. Like I go and cleanse in the natural body of water. I'll cleanse myself by the sounds of a waterfall, like that sound, the vibration of the sound. I'll allow that to cleanse me. So I do it in so many ways. I do smudging. Oh my God, I had a crazy situation earlier today. I do a campfire. Like I'll do a campfire and the fire will cleanse me. Like I would let the fire cleanse me through fire. But long story short, my neighbors had called the fire department on me for setting a campfire like by my house, and they were on some wild stuff. Like I live in between. There's a Karen that lives under me. There's another Karen that lives on the side of me. So they were just giving me a headache today. But yeah, there's just different ways to cleanse. Those are some different ways to cleanse and do energetic hygiene. As some other ways is to do some another way to cleanse myself is through shadow work. I do cleanse through shadow work. I cleanse through journaling, through sorting out my emotions, through seeing like what's the real deal here, like what's really triggering me. Like sometimes that can cleanse you once you get to the part of it, and then you're cleansing it out of your mind. That whatever it is, it's no longer going in your mind. That's an aspect of cleansing yourself as well, and that goes into your energetic maintenance and your spiritual hygiene.
Okay. So y'all, Marcus has just dropped a lot of gems about spiritual cleansing and using different tools, different mechanisms to spiritually cleanse yourself. I hope y'all caught that. Marcus, first off, let me just say thank you. This live again, more than I ever expected, y'all. I'm telling, go check the intentions that I stated at the beginning of the video. I said we was here to talk about chakras, crystals, and the spiritual journey. And Marcus, y'all, I'm excited to go back. So I go back and I rewatch your videos to timestamp it. I'm excited to rewatch this one and timestamp it because I feel like we covered, y'all. Come on now.
We covered a lot.
Marcus went through every single chakra. Not only did he go through every chakra, it wasn't an overview. He went in depth about the aspects of the body it affects, about how you will know if they're blocked or not. What can you do to unblock them and bring balance? Why it's important to do that? What crystals are associated with it? So that was the chakras and the crystals. Yeah. Marcus talked about celibacy and semen retention. Marcus talked about spiritual cleansing, intentional polyamory. Y'all, we done covered everything. Like we talked about Kemetic Science in the very beginning. Y'all, and I'm sure there is much more. As I'll go back and rewatch it, I'm gonna be like, oh, we gotta timestamp this part. Oh, this part need a timestamp. Y'all, it's been so much. So I'm sure your notebooks are full of notes. Okay, yes, fuck the Karens. We can't stand a damn Karen. So word God is in the chat said the damn Karen, we can't stand them. And it's so crazy because you know fire is purifying, it is cleansing. Actually, okay, Marcus, I promise you this is gonna be the last question. Absolutely. When we talk about fire, and I spoke on my TikTok, I was talking about the flame test, and the sister was like, well, I don't want to damage my crystals with the fire. I don't want to damage my crystal with the fire. And I said, fire, when it's matched with something that it aligns with, right? That aligns with the energy, fire is purifying. So you talk about the spiritual cleansing and fire. I want to know, you know, being the crystal man himself, how do you cleanse and recharge your crystals?
Great question. Great question. So sometimes I do use fire. Sometimes I will use fire to cleanse and charge them. But there's different ways. Cleansing has to do more so with trying to reset the energy, trying to get rid of energy, and charging is a specification on how you're putting energy into the crystal. So like cleansing is more so resetting, charging is more so putting energy into it. So I cleanse the crystals. So everything we work with, we sell, we cleanse everything. We cleanse and charge everything we sell. So before it's shipped out to you, it is cleansed and charged. But the mailman does touch the package. So maybe if you get assigned to cleanse it, go ahead and cleanse it, right? It doesn't hurt you, but just know that we cleanse and charge it ourselves. It's been charged in sunlight, moonlight, or some aspect it has been cleansed and charged. But cleansing it, you can cleanse it by burying it underground, right? That resets the energy. That also does charge it with the earthly energy. Putting it, especially like by a tree or by a flower bed, by a herb garden, like putting it in any of those spaces. Putting it in a body of water, like putting it in and letting it pass through the river, or don't lose your crystals now, or letting it like the waves wash up on it. That's also cleansing the crystal. It's also kind of charging it with the energy of the water. Sound bowls are a good way to cleanse your crystals, like using a sound frequency that vibration kind of just resets the energy of it. Other crystals like selenite cleanses other crystals as well, satin spar selenite and regular selenite. What we all see as satin spar, we always call this selenite. This is satin spar selenite. This is what selenite normally looks like. So this is a different version of it, just a slight variation. They are the same crystal. It's just a different version of the same crystal. But selenite cleanses everything. So it cleanses out the crystals. And then there's different ways to charge it. So you can charge it in the moonlight or sunlight, right? Solar energy is definitely a more masculine energy. It's more of a radiant energy. Moonlight's more so of a emotional healing energy, definitely more so on the feminine side. And they're both very powerful though. You can charge your crystals on a new moon or a full moon, and you set it in the sun as well. If you set a crystal in the sun, like I have a big old rose quartz. If you set a crystal in the sun for too long, the sun will fade the crystal. That is a fact. That's not a rumor, that's a fact. So like if you have a beautiful crystal that you don't want to like fade the crystal, then you don't want to set it outside for too long, right? You can set it outside for like a day or so, a couple of hours, but you want to bring that back in. It fading the crystal is not necessarily energetically bad, but it's just like if you like the pretty color, then keep the pretty color. And to a degree, it can lessen it to a degree, but it may not be that big of a deal in real life. And some other ways to charge it Some other ways to cleanse it is really through your own energy. Like, you really, by you holding it and having your intentions to cleanse the crystal, to reset the energy of the crystal. Another way to charge the crystal, vice versa, is to speak your affirmations into it. Like, you charging your crystal, you putting intention into a crystal, is you building up an intention within yourself, building up an emotion within yourself, and then transferring that over into the crystal in some type of way. And you can do that by speaking to it. You can do that by visualization. You can do that. You can incorporate that into one of the routines that you're like cleansing or charging crystals, whether that be in like the water, moonlight, sunlight, bearing it. So there's lots of ways, but I hope that paints a full picture so anyone can like start to use one of these tools and start to use one of these routes to go about working with crystals.
Marcus, that was an abundance. Roy Goddess said, Marcus is knowledge. Yes, knowledge, wisdom manifested. Okay, literally an abundance of notes. Again, thank you. We appreciate your time and your energy. We are literally filled with so much joy and vibrating high. Marcus, before you go, I got to do the people the service. Okay, I got to do the service. Marcus, can you say how old you are? Okay, because we have people of all ages who watch this. Okay, sisters, huh? Okay, stay in your range. Okay, how old are you? What do you look for in a partner? And how can people contact you if they want to build a connection with you?
Okay,
on their own.
But I would say connect. I'm 25. I'm 25. What do I look for in a partner? I look for I look at routine. Like, I'm heavy into routines. Routines is what gets me a lot of results within my life. So I look at like, what are your actual routines in life? So like, is there some type of routine that's building you discipline? If I don't see a routine that's building someone discipline in their life, I don't want to go too deep, but if you don't have discipline, you're not going to pursue internal or external love to the degree that you should, because love takes a little bit of struggle. And if you're not practicing discipline, I know that it's your self-love practice could use a lot of help there. So I look for discipline. Discipline's one thing that I look for. And healthy emotional regulation, being able to regulate your emotions and speak them out to me, because that's just something I need that to be very clear and not to be said indirectly. Like I was saying about be very vocal with speaking to men. I'm a man. You need to be very vocal. Like I prefer very clear communication. And Instagram, DM me on Instagram, TikTok. Well, TikTok, not Instagram. Inner Crystallization. Inner Crystallization on Instagram, TikTok. I'm also on YouTube, but I haven't really been making videos like that at all. So I'm there. I go live every Monday through Friday on TikTok at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I do a live spiritual Q&A there. So if anyone wants to reach me there, go ahead. But as far as contacting me personally, just DM me on Instagram. That's the best way to go about it.
So DMs on Instagram, tune into the TikTok Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. for a spiritual Q&A. Marcus was very clear, okay, and very verbal.
Also, one thing, if you're DMing me for a spiritual service, DM me for spiritual healing. But if you're trying to do like get at me personally, just make that clear, because once I categorize you as someone that like I'm trying to heal, you kind of categorize there. So be very clear with your intention from the jump, because you're not going to just like start the healing journey and then try to zoom in and try to be one partner. Like, no, I already kind of categorized you here. I don't really want to mix those energies. So like, just be very clear. Don't be unintentional. Like be as clear as you can on that. But yeah, go ahead.
I thank you for pointing that out, Marcus, because I need y'all to know that that shit is weird a little bit. Like it's uncomfortable. Okay. Like y'all don't know. You know, and no shade, but both men and women do that. Okay, they will try to slide and act like, oh, I have a spiritual question, or they want service in a spiritual way, but really you trying to slide for other reasons. Be clear about the reason that you are sliding. Okay, please, that's important. Okay, now, Marcus, I gotta ask. I don't know if you're into this. Okay, what's your sign?
I'm a Sagittarius sun, Virgo moon, Aries rising. I'm all cool for astrology. I'm just not that deep into it myself. I love it. I appreciate the art. I practice it within like Ayurveda and Ayurvedic healing, like with the herbs and stuff. But I'm just not that deep into it to like say like, oh, my house is in this, like all that stuff. I actually don't know.
Yeah, no, same. I'm the exact same way. Yeah, like I'm like, you know, I know my chart. I have my chart. I know my chart, but it's not like my center focus on my spiritual journey. But for some people, it is. So if you care, he just gave you his sun, moon, and rising. Okay, so see if you align. Okay, see if you have that discipline, if you have that routine. He's very clear about what he's looking for. He's been very clear about his lifestyle. Do not slide if you do not align. You have to be self-aware. Don't waste the brother time now, okay? All right. Again, Marcus, thank you. Y'all go to the website, Inner Crystallization. It is pinned in the chat. It will also be in the description of this video. The code is QueenPo15. Please use the code. It will be available and going, y'all. We in connection and alignment, so it will be available, okay? Y'all, please send your love, your good energy to Marcus. We love you. We appreciate you. We thank you. We value your time, your wisdom, and all that you have brought us today. Okay. Thank you so much, Marcus. And Wellness Community, I will see y'all tomorrow for the live. I be saying that I'm not going to go live no more, and then I'll be like, I got something to say. Okay, and so then I end up going live. But as of right now, I have no intention to go live again until tomorrow. I'll be at Ia Cassandra's class. I will be in attendance as a student. Okay, Ianifa Chandra. I said Ia Cassandra. That's my other Ia. Ia Chandra. Ianifa Chandra. She's having a class 7 a.m. live on 7 p.m. live on YouTube. I will be there, and then right after that, Wellness Community, we have our Zoom. I'll see y'all in the Zoom. I'm going to be answering questions about this live, about the live from yesterday, as well as we are going to discuss Ia's class at 7 p.m. So all of that will be a part of the Zoom. And then, of course, we got to unpack this coming full moon in Taurus and all of that, y'all. And we'll talk about all of that. So I'll see y'all at the Zoom tomorrow. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And y'all have a good day. Don't be surprised if I pop up on a live on TikTok or something soon. Okay. Marcus, do you have any final thoughts you want to share with the people? Anything you want to say?
Anything I want to say? No, just always ask yourself why you're doing something. That's the first thing that popped in my head. Always ask yourself why you're doing something and how is this aligning me with one of my goals? Like, well, how is the current task that I'm doing aligning me with one of my goals? And that can give you a lot of clarity.
Ashe. All right.